My name is Sarah Kale. I'm a physical therapist and certified yoga instructor. I'm here at WAVE Physical Therapy and Pilates, and today I'm going to take you through a semi-quick yoga sequence for runners. So this is designed to just kind of help get into some of those tight spots that runners tend to get, tightness, but also just getting a little bit of strength and stability that we all need as well when we're runners. So let's go ahead and get started. I made this class to be done without props, but just so that you can kind of do it, no matter what your level is. But if you do feel like you need a block or anything, just go ahead and grab one. I'm going to start on our backs. So first thing in yoga, we always want to just start to tune into our breath. And take your hands down to your low ribs, and we'll just start here with a few nice deep breaths. Think about your diaphragm expanding like an umbrella as you breathe in. Expand 360 degrees around the diaphragm. And then as you exhale, let that recoil. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Let the side ribs expand. Exhale, let that out. And then inhale, let the back body expand. And let that breath out. We're just going to start here, warming up the spine a little bit. Doing a few little segmental roll-ups into our bridge. And I like this because we can get the spine moving a little bit, but also gives us the opportunity to turn on our glutes, which we, again, runners, we generally all can use a little bit extra glute firing and strength. So just think here, we're going to start with rolling up through the tailbone. Roll up tailbone, low back, mid back. Think about pressing through your feet to lift you up. And then as you lower, think about dropping the bottom ribs down towards the mat. Low back, one segment at a time until sacrum hits the earth. Do that a few more times. Keep rolling up. Press through the feet, one segment at a time. Pause at the top. Again, then just let the bottom back ribs drop down to the mat. Should feel pretty good. Roll down to the sacrum. And then one more time, roll tailbone up. All the way up to mid back. And you don't need to worry about getting too high in your bridge here. Let's hold it at the top. Getting too high will often just help us, it'll just kind of push into our paraspinal muscles, and we really want to focus on kind of letting the glutes fire here. So just breathe there for a moment, and then slowly lower down. From here, let's just hug the knees into the chest, roll side to side a few times. Good, and then we're gonna just roll onto our side, make our way up to all fours. So as we find all fours here on the mat, we're gonna keep shoulders over wrists, hips over knees to find ourselves in a nice tabletop position. And we're gonna just take a few cat-cows here. Again, just warming up through that spine. We already worked segmental mobility in that bridge. Just finding a little bit more movement here as we round into our cat and exhale. Look down between the legs and then just roll up through the inhale. Let the shoulder blades come together as you find your cow and inhale. As you exhale, roll, arch up like a Halloween cat. Maybe find a little bit of core engagement here as you come into your cat. And then find your cow again. Inhale, let the pelvic floor and let all the muscles around the abdomen relax. Shoulder blades come together. Make sure you're keeping the back of your neck really long here as you gaze down between the legs. Now we want to find a neutral spine. So we're going to find that place in between where we were in cat and cow. So think about finding neutral spine, which will mean there's a teeny curve in the low back. We're going to keep looking at the floor so the back of the neck will stay really nice and long here. And then we're going to just reach the left leg out, let the toes find the mat, and then think about just kind of keeping that neutral spine as you rock back and forth over the wrist. So you're just finding some foot mobility here, rolling over the toes, making sure you roll straight over that foot so you find that movement forward and backwards. Big toe mobility, really important in running, something we don't think about a lot, but we really want that big toe mobility. From here, find that warm up of the calf a little bit, stretch through the calf, and then we're going to just keep the leg long and just lift it to about hip height. So don't worry about lifting it higher. We want to make sure that we're finding that hip height here, and then just reach the foot towards the back of the room, keeping the heel flexed. Again, just finding that engagement in the glute. And if you feel ready, you can just add a little by reaching the right arm out. Again, keep the back of the neck long. You want to make sure that both hips are really nice and level here. Again, we want that nice stability through the pelvis. And then we're going to put the right hand back down. We're going to take that left leg and swing it all the way out to the side so that you're in almost like a half straddle. I'm going to turn so you can see me here. And then as you find that little half straddle position, just really small little rocks back. So nothing really big here for that rock. We're just going to start to think about waking up a little bit through that inner thigh. And again, just try not to let your back round as you rock back, but really just keep the spine neutral here. From there, just bring your knee back so it meets the other knee. We're just going to do that same thing on the other side. So reach the right leg back. Let the toes find the mat here first. And we're just going to rock forwards and back here. Again, rolling over that big toe. Opening up through the plantar fascia a little bit, finding that stretch through the calf. And then from here, just ground through both hands, and that left leg, lift the right leg up so it's parallel to the mat, right at hip height there. Let the glute engage, so really feel like you're engaging through that back of the leg, and then really reach the left arm out if you feel ready. Find that balance and stability there. Take a couple of breaths here in your bird dog, and then place that left hand down. We're going to just kind of reach that right leg out to the side again, just like we did on the opposite side. Find your adductor rock, opening up again through that inner thigh on the right this time. Should feel so good, especially if you just ran. Good, and then we're gonna bring that right knee in. From here, we're gonna find our first down dog of the practice. So curl the toes under. We just kind of got that fascia warmed up a little bit. Curl the toes under. I want you to lift your knees first. And so you're really gonna have to feel engagement through the core to lift your knees, but then reach your hips towards the back of the room. So knees can be as bent as they need to be, but better to have your spine in neutral and the knees bent versus having, the tailbone curled under and the back flexed. So let the head hang heavy here. If you can let the heels drop down a little bit more, that's okay, but keep the knees a little bit bent. First down dog, you're probably gonna feel a little tight here. Good, and then just let the knees come back down to the ground. We're gonna step the right foot through between the hands. So that left knee will be down, and we're just gonna find our first little lunge here. We're gonna open up through the front of the left hip. Arms will come straight up. Don't dump into the pelvis, rather keep that left glute engaged and find the stretch in the hip flexor by engaging the glute, keeping the pelvis neutral. So many of us just want to kind of dump into that pelvic tilt when we run too, so it's good practice just to find neutral spine, neutral pelvis. Then we're going to put the hands down to the ground here. I'm going to step that back foot up to the front, big inhale up, arms reach up to the sky. Just take a moment to find mountain pose here, spread the toes. Nice and wide again, we're talking about that foot and toe mobility, super important. We don't think about it a ton because our feet are usually in shoes when we run, but just really great to find that foundation for your run. So down at your toes, spread them, set them back down on the mat. Big inhale here. On your exhale, hinge from your hips to come forward. Let your hands find the earth. Bend your knees as much as you need to do that. And then step the right foot back. Let the knee drop down to find the ground. We're going to find our low lunge on the other side. Inhale, the arms will come up. Again, don't dump into that pelvis, but engage through the left glute. Reach the arms up, reach through the pinkies to find that upward rotation of the scapula. Good, and then hands will come back down to the earth. We're gonna step that front foot back, kind of shift your weight forward a little bit so you're in like a modified plank here. Knees are down on the mat, and we're gonna just slowly lower all the way down. Inhale, lift the heart. Elbows reach towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades come together here in your baby cobra. Keep the gaze down so the neck doesn't crank forward, the chin doesn't jut. Good, and then press through the hands. Sit the hips back to the heels, find a child's pose for just a few breaths here. Think about letting the breath come into the back body, down into the pelvis. Good. Shift the weight back forward. We're going to curl the toes under, lift the hips up into down dog again. Maybe the knees could straighten a little bit more this time, but don't compromise the neutral spine to get them there. Shake the head a little bit. Good. From here, we're going to step the right foot forward again. This time, keep the knee up if that feels accessible to you. You can always drop it if it doesn't. Ground on through the left hand. Place the right hand on the right inside of the right thigh. And then we're going to do a little twist here, but I really, really want you to pay attention to what's happening at your pelvis. Don't let the left side of your pelvis drop, but stay really strong through that left glute. And then open, turn your rib cage towards the right. Let the breastbone lead you there. Stay strong through the legs. If you feel steady, you can reach that right arm up to the sky. Finding some thoracic mobility here. Again, you know, some of these things we don't always think about for running, but really good to have that thoracic mobility for the arm swing. Just take a few deep breaths here. It should feel a little challenging on the legs. Good. And then we're going to just bring that right hand to the inside of the right foot. We're going to turn the toes so that they face the side of the mat. So turn towards the left. Maybe keep the hands over towards the right foot if you are flexible. If not, just move them closer to the center. But we're going to side lunge into your left leg here. So again, if that feels like too much, you can always walk your hands a little bit closer to center. But the closer you keep the hands to the right foot, the more of a stretch you'll get kind of in that side body and back. I'm just going to feel that little lunge into the left leg. And as you lunge into the left leg, really think about sitting back into that hip so that knee shouldn't be coming forward too terribly much. keep the heel down and sit into the left hip. You don't have to go down all the way. You don't have to go down far. Better get those mechanics right than to compromise, right? Okay, so from here, we're just gonna walk the hands back to the top of the mat. I'm gonna place the right hand on the outside of the foot, and you can just step that front foot back. Drop the knees down. We're gonna lower our bellies all the way down to the mat. And as we inhale into a baby cobra, just lift the heart, lift the chest. Tops of the feet are gonna be flat on the earth. And then we'll push ourselves back into a down dog again. Let's pedal the feet in this down dog. So just, again, waking up that plantar fascia a little bit more. Let the right knee bend as the left heel finds the ground, and then vice versa, just walking it out a little bit. Good. You can step the left foot through in between the hands. You can always drop that right knee down. Go ahead and take the left hand on the inside of that left thigh. And from here, we're gonna just press through. Just think about keeping the pelvis stable as you turn through the rib cage. Opening up here. And then maybe that left arm reaches up to the ceiling. Finding your lunge, twisted crescent. The head can relax down a little bit. Take a few nice deep breaths here. From here, we're just gonna bring that left hand down. I'm gonna turn the toes towards the right side of the mat this time. This time we'll lunge into the right leg. So again, just really think about sitting into that right hip. Hands can stay over by the left foot if that feels good. You can breathe a little bit into the right side body. Again, don't be afraid to walk those hands a little more towards center if that feels better. Good. Okay, and from here, maybe take a couple more deep breaths. Notice what's working, what's waking up. Again, you don't want to just always be doing passive stretches. I know it feels nice after running, but really important to get that active mobility in the hips. And then we're gonna just move towards the front of the mat again, step the front foot back, drop the knees, lower all the way down. Inhale into baby cobra, lift the heart, tops of the feet flat. Really make sure you're still engaging the core as you lift the heart, and then push through the hands. Come into your down dog. From here, we're gonna find a warrior one. So we're gonna step the right foot up between the hands. The left foot is going to, the heel's gonna find the ground, so the back foot's in about 45-degree angle-ish, but it doesn't have to be perfectly there. Gonna lunge into the front leg. If you feel like you need to bend the back knee a little bit to keep the pelvis neutral, go ahead and do that. Again, better to bend the knee a little bit than compromise where the pelvis is. So again, you should feel that stretch through the front of the left hip. We're gonna reach the arms up to the ceiling. Pinkies reach up to the sky. Nice deep breath here. Keep pressing down through both of the feet. Remember, that left foot still should be a little bit engaged. That'll help you get that full capacity of that calf stretch and hip flexor stretch on the left side. Both legs are really active. Good, and then we're just gonna turn, again, let's turn to the left side of the mat. So toes are going to be pointed forward right now, but let's just turn them out again slightly. So everyone's hips are shaped a little differently, but we just want to find kind of that natural turn out of the hips. So slight external rotation in the hips, and we're going to come down into a little bit of a goddess. So as we come down into that goddess, we're going to find, again, just some mobility, some stretch on the inside of the thighs, but we're going to find that strength on the outside of the thighs. So I'm going to keep thinking about pushing the knees back towards the pinky toe side of the mat. Maybe hands come to heart center. And take a breath or two here. Good. I'm going to come up, turn the toes back so that they're facing forward. We're just going to hinge at the hips, come forward. Hands can find the earth. That feels good. Again, bend the knees as much as you need to. Let the head hang heavier for a moment. Shake the head a few times. And then roll all the way up. We're going to turn the toes towards the front of the mat. From here, we'll find a little bit of a pyramid pose. So, right leg is still in front. Hips are going to be straight, level to the front of the room. So those hip bones are shining like headlights. Again, you can bend as much as you need to, but here we're going to find this pyramid pose so it almost feels like that nice little hamstring stretch. Just hinge at the hip. Keep the back of the neck long, so your gaze is going to be down at your big toe. Continue to feel like you can keep the pelvis level towards the front of the room. Hinge is happening just in the hips. So this might be as far as you go. This is a great place to use blocks as well. If you're not using blocks to keep your hands down, then this feels really nice and active again. So you're getting a nice active hamstring stretch here. You're feeling kind of how it feels to keep that pelvis pointing straight forward. Probably feels like a little bit of work. Now, maybe come up slightly. We're going to think about shifting our weight into that front leg. So finding a little bit of balance and movement here. We're going to shift the weight into that front leg. Back toes peel off the earth as we kind of come into our airplane pose. So finding that single leg stability. Arms reach towards the back of the mat. Keep the gaze down, back of the neck stays long as you balance on that right foot. So running is a single leg sport, right? So we always want to make sure that we have good single leg stability. And then from here, just think about bringing your entire torso upright. And then we're going to come bring the knee, left knee towards the chest. So you're kind of standing in this standing stork pose. And then we're going to just find a little bit of movement here. So working on that single leg stability. Come back into your airplane. And then slide up, back up, knee to chest. One more time. Airplane. And knee to chest. Good, and then just set that left foot down on the ground. Shake it out for a moment. Big inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Walker step the feet back into your plank. Drop the knees. Lower down into cobra. Engage through the core, lift the heart. Draw the shoulder blades together. Look down. Push through the hands. Come back into your down dog. Take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And we're going to do that sequence on the other side. So, stepping your left foot forward, finding warrior one on this side. Drop the back foot down at a 45-degree angle. Really set up in your postures here. It's really important, just to know what you should be feeling in each of these poses to get the most bang for your buck here. So I said pelvis is neutral, tailbone points down towards the ground, engage through that right glute. Both legs are really active. Reach the arms to the ceiling. Don't jut out your ribs here, but keep the rib cage down. Think about upward rotation of the shoulder blades. Once you jut out your rib cage, you kind of lose some of that stretch in the hip flexor. The pelvis usually follows. So continue to feel really nice and strong through that front leg. From here, we're just going to take a turn towards the right side of the mat. Finding goddess one more time. You can just stay in goddess here, or if you're feeling good and strong, you can lift the heels up, finding a little bit, again, a little bit more strength through the calf muscles. Give yourself an opportunity to really let those legs shake. But remember, you want to kind of keep those knees from collapsing in. Good. Let's find that wide-legged forward fold one more time. Come out of your goddess. Hinge at the hips to fold forward. Hands can come down. If you'd like, you can bring your hands behind your back, but just reach the knuckles towards the opposite side of the room. Don't necessarily think about letting them fall over. You get just as good of a stretch this way, and you don't have any risk of damaging the shoulder joint. So just kind of think about reaching out, opening up through the chest here. Good. Let the hands come back down to the back. We're going to turn both feet towards the front of the mat again, finding pyramid on this side. So letting the hip bones face straight forward and hinge at the hips. Really think about engaging through the core. So back foot's down. Hip bones are both pointed, your pelvis is parallel to the front of that mat. Gaze down. And yes, if you have the flexibility, you can bring your hands down. But it's a great way to stay really active here in this posture, just kind of continuing to think about pressing through both feet. Good, now we're gonna come about halfway up. Think about that weight shift into the front foot again. So back heel peels off the back of the mat, really ground through that front foot as you lift the back leg up. Use your glute to lift the back leg. Keep the gaze down, keep the back of the neck long as you find your airplane pose here. Keep reaching that right heel towards the back of the room with a flexed foot. So that back glute's really engaged and turned on. Good, and then breathe, find some stillness. Once you feel steady, maybe add a little bit of that movement again, drawing the right knee into the chest. And then back to airplane. Really resist the urge to jet your chin here. Again, keep the back of the neck long, keep the rib cage neutral, so we don't want to flare out those ribs. Maybe put your hands on the bottom of the rib cage to feel that. Give yourself the feedback. Good. Inhale, find your nice little stork pose here, right knee to chest, take a breath, and then let the foot come down. Another big inhale here. We're going to just bring the hands to heart center, walk the feet out to about mat width, and I'm going to turn to face you here, but we're going to come all the way down into our yogi squat. So we're going to come all the way down. And then, again, if this feels like it's too much for you, you can always sit on a yoga block, make your way down, but this is a nice deep squat. Again, think about what's going on at the ankles. You need good flexion of the dorsiflexion of the ankles, flexion of the knees, flexion of the hips to get here. A little bit of external rotation, but just find that breath again here. Find breath into the back body. Good, and then we're gonna find our way all the way down to our seat. And from here, we're gonna make our way onto our sits bones. So think about where your sit bones are here. Just a little bit of core strength. Gotta kind of keep that in here for our runners, even though we're not doing a ton of it today, but we'll just find a little boat. So think about where the sits bones are on the mat. Engage in the lower abdomen, so really draw those muscles in, those low ab muscles into the belly button, tighten there. This may be enough for you if you kind of come down to about maybe not quite a 45-degree angle, but again, keeping the back of the neck long. If you feel strong, you can lift the feet up. Just make sure your belly doesn't bulge out. Like, kind of keep those abdominal muscles drawn in nice and tight here. Just a couple of nice, deep breaths. Good, and we're gonna let those feet find the earth. From here, let's just find a little seated twist. So we're gonna just cross the right leg over the left, find a nice tall spine. Sit bones are still on the earth. And for this twist, I want you to think about using your oblique muscles to twist, not just forcing yourself into the twist. It's gonna serve us so much better and our back so much better if we can use those oblique muscles. So think about just moving the rib cage, just twisting through the rib cage like we did at the beginning of class. Twist the rib cage over to the right. And once you're there, you can let that left hand, arm come to the knee, but keep that spine really nice and tall. Stay engaged through the core. Back of the neck, again, long. Don't drop the chin out to get there, but use that core strength to twist you. This should be a nice opening for the outside of that hip as well. Good, we're just gonna unwrap that right leg and straighten it out. So you're kind of in a half straddle here. Just take a nice big inhale up. Exhale again, active. Just like we did in that pyramid pose. I want the stretch to stay a little bit active. We're not just gonna pull on the leg and bring us down, but just think about hinging at the hip. Maybe just a little bit of a bend forward, just to open up through that hamstring a bit. Good. We'll take that left hand down on the outside of the left hip and just reach up. We're gonna find like a little bit of a fallen triangle here, just to give ourselves another opportunity to back bend, open up the chest and the heart. Feels like we spend so much time forward in our running. And then come back down. We're just gonna switch it up. So this time we're gonna cross our left leg over our right. Let the sits bones find the earth, find a nice tall spine. Again, use the obliques to twist us to the left. That right arm can come on that right leg. Kind of breathe, find some length through the spine. Think length. Lengthen that axial spine as you twist around it. Finding a nice deep breath here. Getting that nice stretch on the outside of the left hip. Good. And then just unwrap that leg. I'm gonna find a half straddle here. Slight turn towards that leg. Stay really active. And then just a nice hinge forward. Reaching the chest towards the toe. Nice big breath. Good, and then we're gonna come up. We're gonna take that right hand on the outside of the right hip. Lift up, find that nice little back bend here. You can circle the arm a little bit if it feels good. Come back to the earth. We're gonna now just find our way down to our backs. and again, just hug the knees into the chest. Rock back and forth. Bring the arms out to a T. We're gonna let the knees fall over to the left. Turn the gaze to the right. Give yourself an opportunity here, again, to feel the breath coming down into the diaphragm, into the right side. Open through the chest, open through the heart. Use the core to bring the knees back up. Let the knees fall over to the right. Gaze comes to the left. Good, and bring the knees back up to center. Let the legs come down to the mat. The legs fall wide, palms towards the ceiling. We're just gonna find a moment in relaxation. I know for a lot of us type A runners, this is the hardest part, right? It's just to kind of settle the body, settle the mind. It's a great place to just take inventory. See where you're holding those last bits of tension. So finding a moment to relax the brow and relax the jaw. Really relax the glutes, the thighs. Let the heels sink down into the earth. Take 3 nice big breaths here. Always welcome to stay here as long as you need. But we're going to just roll ourselves onto our right side. Press up with the left hand. Come to a seat. Thank yourself for doing something different than running today. Just to move the body in a little different way. Thank our body for all of the miles we put in and all that it does to carry us. Namaste.